Do you have discipline when it comes to growth? Seven-figure business owners often approach it in one way. Throw money at growing top-line revenue at any and all costs. But there is rarely any real consideration for the cost of growth and the impact to profitability. As a result, I see a lot of business owners in the $3 to $5 million range finding themselves in a position of cost overruns resulting in the business losing money. Now, that's fine for as long as you have the working capital to fund the shortfall. Tech businesses have been using this strategy for decades, turning zero profit and producing eye-watering valuations. However, they have the benefit of capital markets and the sentiment of a sexy tech business to prop up their cash-eating strategies. You're not a tech entrepreneur, nor do you have access to the capital markets to prop up your growth. You've typically got a lean balance sheet with less than 3 months of cash to expenses. In other words, you're towing the line of insolvency while you chase growth blindly. We help seven-figure business owners scale the right way. How? Well, we plot all businesses into 4 quadrants based on the relationship between their revenue growth and their EBIT growth. And to define, EBIT is earnings before interest and tax. This shows us the relative cost of growth and the sustainability of the strategy. So, if your EBIT and revenue are both going backwards, you are in revenue shortfall, and this is a sign of trouble. If your EBIT is growing but your revenue is flat, you're in operational efficiency. This is usually for businesses post a growth phase who are optimizing and improving their financial model to recover from scale or preparing for another growth phase. If your EBIT is declining but your revenue is growing, you're in cost overruns. And this is usually because you're throwing margin at the costs of scale, which includes marketing, sales, acquisitions, and hiring. This is sustainable for as long as your working capital will allow you to fund those shortfalls. And if your EBIT is growing along with your revenue, you're in disciplined growth. This is often harder than you think and is actually quite rare, particularly over sustained periods of time. This requires the business to adjust the financial model to become self-liquidating. Now, marketers talk about this all of the time, but they rarely understand the practical implementation in a complete financial model. They think that this is just covering the cost of acquisition. For example, if I have a funnel that generates revenue equal to the cost of acquiring the customer, all of my problems are solved. In a small business, that's fine, but when we talk about a business doing multi-7 or 8 figures, it is far more complicated. So, to build a true financial model that allows you to sustain disciplined growth consistently, you need to know the metrics from the very top to the very bottom of your business. There are actually 46 metrics required in order to do this accurately. Unfortunately, I can count on one hand the number of businesses that I have encountered that have all of those KPIs in place. So, the fallback plan is that we need to track 19 metrics. We can guesstimate the numbers to begin with, and then we track them over a quarter in order to optimize and improve. So, those metrics are baseline monthly revenue, baseline cost of goods or your delivery percentage, baseline marketing spend per month, target payback window, months, payment terms lag, days, target lifetime value to customer acquisition cost ratio, proposed marketing spend, clicks and sessions, landing page view percentage, opt-in percentage, qualified lead percentage, call booked percentage, call sharp percentage, proposal sent percentage, sale percentage, average upfront value, lifetime customer value excluding the upfront, contract term in months, and the fixed operating expenses excluding marketing per month. Now, with these numbers, we can create 3 separate levels of analysis: the funnel economics, the unit economics, and the profit economics. So in the image above, you can see the quarterly results for a business over the last 13 quarters, which I will show you right here, as you can see here. Now, out of these 13 quarters that you see, each of these dots represents a quarter, you can see that only 2 out of the entire 13 months was the business outside of the disciplined growth. And this volatility that you see here is as the business owner was tracking and measuring those metrics, identifying the opportunities to improve, and then we're implementing strategies in order to support disciplined and sustained growth. It is incredibly difficult to do this for essentially 3 years consecutive. So the idea here is that the business owner tracked the above metrics identified the cost of growth, and implemented changes to solve the financial bottlenecks constraint, while further achieving profitable growth, it meant that they were able to scale faster while also scaling their profit. This is the epitome of having your cake and eating it too. So, if you want help developing these financial KPIs for your own business and building a high performance financial model, please let me know.